Okay, gang, we're back. We've gone over some theory and some positional stuff, just basic stuff from the guard position bottom. And now I'd like to go over a couple of really high percentage submissions we can utilize once we break our opponent down and get him into the position where we want him. The first one we're going to go over today is the guillotine choke. The guillotine choke is the most successful submission, or it's been the one most utilized in MMA to finish a match. You know, if you do a search on the internet or whatever, as far as submission wins go, the guillotine is about 70% of all submissions. So very high percentage. And the beautiful thing about the guillotine choke is if you don't get it, you're not giving up position. Whereas an arm lock, sometimes a triangle, if you miss it, you end up in cross-body position bottom, which is no fun to deal with. So guillotine choke from the bottom guard. Okay, comes in my guard here. A lot of times you're gonna get in the guillotine choke. You can start from standing or when their head is lower than yours. But we're gonna go ahead and initiate this guillotine choke when we're already down in the guard position and we need to get off our backs and lock on that nifty sub. I'm gonna go from the closed guard here. I'm gonna have head control here, okay? I need to isolate one side of his body here for me to perform this submission. And how I'm going to do that, there are two ways I can go about moving his head and clearing it. It's almost like a swim move in football. The first way is he's not going to give me any resistance if the guy's just kind of loosey-goosey. I'm just going to push on his head, and I'm going to clear it here with my arm and my shoulder, reaching up and grabbing the lat. To show you on the other side for the camera, I'm pushing on the head. I'm just clearing like a swim move in football, and I'm going to grab his lat on one side, and I'm going to pressure down with my elbow on the other, and I can maintain this position. I just don't want him to be able to pull his head back to the center and drive me down as I'm going to go ahead and start to sit up to put on the guillotine choke. So this initial setup is this. Here, we're in our initial position, head control here. I'm going to pass the head to one side, and I'm just going to clear, turning to one hip, reaching across, grabbing the lat, and pressuring here. So if I lock this up, he tries to get his head back. It's going to be hard for him to do because I got pressure here, and I'm going to stay tight in here with my hips and my upper body. That's the first step of this good guillotine choke. Again, one more time. Closed guard. Got head control here. I'm just going to pass the head off. I'm going to swim like football move here, grabbing his lat with my left hand here, and pressuring down with the elbow, keeping my hips and my upper body in tight. Okay, that's step one. All right, gang, we're going to go on to step two of the guillotine choke here. We've passed the head and we've cleared. Here, I pressured, I swam over the top, grabbed the lat here, and I got control. From here, I need to get in a sit-up position here. And this can be difficult for me to do against a strong opponent unless I do something very proactive to get here. So again, I'm going to keep his head to the side from here, and I'm going to reach up with my arm. As I reach up, I have to open my guard, and I'm kind of coming to my hip here at the same time. Keeping it under control, reaching up, and I'm going to come up to my elbow here. As I come up to my elbow, that's going to allow me to sit up and start to move my hips underneath me as such. Okay? I'm going to be mindful of my legs, keeping control of his head so he doesn't pull back in the center. I'm going to keep this good control on the side of the lat right here. Okay? This is stage two of the guillotine choke. Again, here, I've got head control from the closed guard. I'm going to pass it off. I'm going to sit up, and I'm just going to grab the lat so he can't recover his head. From here, I'm going to reach up here, boom, come up to my hand or my elbow. Eventually, we're going to come up to our hand so we can sit up even higher, and I can start to move my hips behind me to where I'm going to work the guillotine choke. Okay, this is stage two of the guillotine choke. Okay, gang, part three of the guillotine choke from the guard bottom position here is the finish. So here, I got my opponent, closed guard, head control. I'm going to push on the head here. I'm going to swim up, keeping my upper body tight, grabbing the lat, keeping him from recovering his head. From here, I have to open my guard, turn my hip, come up to my arm here, come up just like a bicycle kickstand here. Once I'm up here, I'm going to start coming up to my hand, and I'm going to move my hips back. As I move my hips back, I'm going to wrap the head with my arm. Okay? Here, keeping this leg up high, wrapping up here. Okay? Once I'm putting this guillotine choke on, this is the leg I have to be mindful of because my opponent can only pass to this side to get out of this choke. Okay? If I'm here, that's going to be the side he clears. So I'm going to be mindful of this leg. If I'm putting on this choke, he can't pass to the other side because it's going against his own neck. Okay? So once I'm up in this position, I get my hips underneath me. Good post here. Left hand is coming around the head here. Okay? Once I get around the head, I can lock up the choke here by grabbing my hands. Once I grab my hands, I'm just going to sit underneath it, rotate, and finish the choke. And we'll show you a little up close and personal way that we're finishing that puppy. All right, gang, we're going to show you from another angle on exactly what I'm doing with my arm, so you're able to apply this submission. So we came up here, we're grabbing the lat, we're keeping it from covering his head. We got our kickstand here, we brought our hips out a little bit, mindful of this other side leg so they don't pop out. Here, as I sit back, I'm going to wrap around the head here, and I want to be below the jawline. I don't want to be on the jaw because that's more of a neck cranker and a head squeeze. I want to come in tight around the neck so I can close off the carotid artery on this side because my ribs are going to close it on the other side to do a blood choke. So it allows my opponent to go nighty-night. Okay? So here, I'm wrapping around the head, coming below the jaw. And on this arm, I'm bringing it through, and on the next step, we're going to show you this other side where this hand placement is, just so you can see exactly how deep we're throwing this. So again, just from this angle on this side, as I sit back, I'm wrapping it around the head, coming below the jaw here, and just sinking in right to that position. All right, gang. Now, once I've wrapped the head here, come below the jaw, my hand is coming through, and as you can see, my hand is open, palm facing towards me, and this allows me a good tight position on the other side of the neck to close off that carotid. Now, we're going to modify the grip here. This is an MMA guillotine choke, okay? Works really well with gloves. As I shot this really deep, I'm going to hook grip my hands here, okay? I'm just coming here. This is really easy to do with gloves on. I'm just going to grab my fingers here, and we'll demonstrate up close and personal the hook grip here in a minute. But I'm just going to hook grip it here, and as I hook grip it here, I'm going to pull up with this elbow, chicken wing down with my other one, as I rotate in on this choke here. And I'm twisting towards the side that my arm is wrapped, and that really puts the pressure on that side of the neck. Again, one more time. As I sit up here, got the kickstand up, mindful of this leg, I wrap around the head, okay? Palm is facing towards me, nice and tight. I'm going to hook grip it here. As I hook grip, I'm going to pull up with this arm, and I'm going to chicken wing down with the other, and I'm just going to rotate the body as I turn into it.